Hello and welcome to Taboo Couch.
Lovely singing.
Hello, Loopy Lils.
Hi, Babushka. How you doing?
I'm doing great, We have got a subject for today.
Oh, haven't we just?
Can you pronounce it?
Cytophilia. It's Sitophilia. Cytophilia.
How
Do we
many
know what that
drinks
is?
have you had? How many drinks have you had, Lils?
I think I might have needed a few drinks to say that, actually. Or a few cakes. Because, yes, it's the official term for sexual arousal from food.
Oh my word. And tonight I'm going to be talking about objectophilia, which is sexual arousal by objects.
So we've got food and objects tonight. Brilliant. Absolutely.
Do you like
brilliant.
your objects covered in food?
Exactly that. I mean, object is in a plate. I mean, my food goes on a plate. So could we have cytophilia and objectophilia together?
Yes, my ninja foodie blender.
Wow. I mean, how many fetishes did we find today?
I mean,
hundreds.
Today alone, we found hundreds. Yeah, but it's just we humans, we have such a vast capacity to enjoy ourselves.
It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I am slightly concerned that I have cytophilia because I'm quite obsessed with food. But I'm not too sure I get sexually aroused, although I do like a tub of Haagen-Dazs.
I have heard you licking ice cream, Loopy Lils.
And I do make lots of noises.
I think you've got licophilia, which I think is the love of licking.
I bet that's a thing, isn't it? Licophilia. Please, it's not. It's not. Sorry, listeners, look out for that if that is such a thing. But this is all about food. And I wonder if there's lots of chefs out there. I mean, I wonder if Gordon Ramsay, he gets quite passionate about his food.
He is. Heston Blumenthal. Oh my gosh, she started us off with, popping candy and stuff that looks one way but tastes like something totally different.
Yeah, I love all these programs, Bake Off and everything. And it's very sexual when people are eating. Lots of noises are going on, but I didn't know about this official term.
Tell me more, Lils.
Okay, so the idea of melted chocolate, whipped cream, or someone eating a peach slowly while making eye contact with you. Okay, so I've got this wrong. So it's not about us eating it. It's about the sexual arousal of you watching somebody eat. And if you think about the adverts, do you remember, we're showing our age, the flake?
This is not just any old food. This is
M&S.
Oh, the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate could taste like chocolate never tasted before.
I do think, Babushka, you need to go to singing because you love to outburst of singing. I absolutely love it.
I totally agree. I need lessons. If there's anyone out there who's ready to take the risk and try and train my voice, put yourself in our comments.
Think about it. Now you're saying the adverts we do sexualize.
We sexualize everything, we humans.
Yes, but do you remember the flake advert? The flake advert years ago.
I just sung it. Her in the boat.
In the bath. I was thinking in the bath when she laid in there.
In the bath, yes.
And all the water flowed everywhere, and then she was just eating this crumbly, and you just sat there looking at it going, oh wow. And every time I ate a flake, I felt I was that woman in the bath.
Does that explain how you came to scoff so many?
Yes, I think so. I kept thinking I was her. Wow.
And then that whole thing, remember, sorry to interrupt you, Lils, but remember, the ice cream, the flake 99 with the ice cream and the flake. I mean, that is licking heaven.
really
Tonight,
is.
listeners, we have introduced a new term, and we believe that this will be appearing in the Oxford English Dictionary by next year. Lickophilia. You heard it here first.
We're going to have to look up lickophilia because
I have. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't. It does now. We will launch lickophilia.
Now.
We will actually bring that. We will go into the dictionary and we will get that added. So this is about eating your food sexually and making eye contact and the noises. And this is like this welcome to the deliciously messy world of food kinks. I mean, it's not just, I do love ice cream, and I think I do moan and groan a bit when I eat ice cream.
I can confirm that you do.
But there's lots of different food fetishes. There's one with play, like messy play.
And then the one with custard.
Yeah. I mean, I remember my kids playing messy play, at nursery and stuff. But this is a difference. It involves rubbing, pouring or smearing food over the body. So think custard, syrup, cream pies all over. I mean,
Lils, you were you were kind of stroking your shoulder there. I don't know if you noticed. I'm sitting here watching you. Viewers, listeners, if only you could see what I see.
My arm and my chest. I'm thinking, I'm glad the viewers can't see us. So you often do this naked or having fetish wear.
Tell me more.
I don't have fetish wear when I'm eating my ice cream. So it's really popular in porn and OnlyFans, and it's super sensory. And it would be, wouldn't it? I mean, look at me. I'm stroking my arm there.
I see you.
Now, there's feederism. So I don't know if I pronounced it right. Feederism. So feederism.
Can I just stop you there a moment, Lils?
Yeah.
Simply because I think we need to explain to people the root meaning of this word cytophilia. Because some people might be deliberately mispronouncing it by now. So just for definition and clarity here, cytophilia is a kink, or also known as a paraphilia, in which a person becomes sexually aroused by food. The word comes from the Greek cytos, meaning food, and philia, meaning love or attraction. And
I thought it was squashing while eating.
No, that's sploshing while eating, Lils.
Is there a splashophilia? I mean, are we inventing words here? I feel like we're inventing new words.
No, sploshing really is a term that overlaps with cytophilia, and it involves messy substances. Okay. So tonight we've invented also cytosploshing.
We're going to have someone from the dictionary be in touch with us and say, let's get these people in to make up new kinks. So the feederism, called in feeding fetish, is one partner enjoys feeding other large amounts of food. Now, so I would be the recipient because I would like to have the food rather than be fed. So I think that's but also it says it's sometimes linked to weight gain kinks.
Yes, and I've seen these in America where there are people who deliberately feed people until they become very, very large and heavy and unable to take care of themselves. Even going to the bathroom can become a challenge. Cleaning yourself cleaning yourself after using the toilet. Many people who are involved in this, especially as the recipients, are unable to leave the house because they're so large. Yeah.
I've seen that. I saw a lady, and people would come and bring gifts, but they would feed her. So it's not just not leaving the food, actually feeding her. There's no sexual act or anything. They're obviously getting something from it. I mean, you're the recipient's getting food, but the other people, it wasn't like a sexual act. Not what I saw. I didn't see anything sexual about it. It obviously did get arousal from it, but There was no sexual act involved. However,
how
this
would you
is a bit
feel
like
if
that.
I put you in a room and just fed you for the next 20 years and invited other people to just come and feed you? And you didn't have to worry about anything, bills, shopping, getting up and going to work, raising kids, having a social life.
I think if I was to not gain weight, sounds brilliant.
We've got remedies for that now, haven't we?
we
Not naming any
not naming
medical
any certain
product
brands.
at all.
No,
However,
however, yeah, we're not doing that. But yeah, it's all about dominance and submission. I control how much I eat. But are you controlling it? Were these people controlling what they was eating? Because people were bringing them food. It wasn't like you was ordering a takeaway for someone to bring in. They was bringing you certain foods. And arousal can come from watching someone grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And you don't get bigger instantly. So these would be people that would come weekly, maybe. And then you've got ESMR, eating arousal. So some people find watching or listening to others eat food. Now, there are lots of people who have got phobias of this. You know, really sorry, listeners, because that's annoying. But the slurping, the chewing, the licking. So that's called ESMR. Now, I didn't think that was an arousal thing, because maybe people are turned on and aroused by that. But I know lots of people who cannot stand people making the sound.
Mastication.
Yes. So if you're somebody out there who likes the noise, and I can get that that kind of noise, but it is, yeah.
I remember when I was young, seeing The Silence of the Lambs with Hannibal Lecter, and the noises, and I still, I can still hear that.
Yeah.
Quite
when he read it,
and
like that, yes. I didn't like that.
A very discomforting feeling, very discomforting noise.
Yeah. So I don't think I personally would be able to get an arousal from somebody licking and smacking their lips and chewing and. I mean, you're making it look quite sexual. I don't know about the sound.
Finger licking good. We're just borrowing that line from a famous food company.
Yeah. Now this one, body worship with food. Yeah. So people are like a plate. So you have food put all over you, and it's like a human buffet.
You can tell that I'm highly interested in visuals and I love films. And there is a film with Helen Mirren called The Cook, the Thief, the Wife and His Lover.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Right, tell me.
It must be 30 odd years old. Wow. But how can I describe this film? It's an amazing film, and Helen Mirren is an amazing actress. And I can only say to you, if you can get this on other streaming services are available, Netflix or any other streaming service, Amazon Prime. Have a look at it. It's a brilliant film. It's got Ray Winston as well, who, oh my word, wow. I just love me some Ray Winston. But yes, it's a brilliant film. The Cook, the Thief, the Wife and His Lover. You heard it here.
So just give us a clip. Is Helen Mirren being a plate? Is she being eaten from? Because that's what we was talking about.
I can only say, wait for the final scenes.
Oh, now I'm intrigued.
Exactly.
Now I'm intrigued. I mean, the body worship. So can you imagine, like, coming home and having dinner, but dinner's on me? And I don't mean I'm paying for it. And you've got the candles lit and a bit of Marvin Gaye going on and whipped cream all over you. I mean, that's an average Friday night for me. So I think maybe I've probably done a bit of body worship with food. But I mean, let's look at the psychology behind this, though. I think it's very sensory, very sensory pleasure and nurturing, and food is linked to intimacy.
You know, the first act of food intimacy that a person has is that first latching onto the breast or the bottom.
Yeah.
And for nursing mothers, they often speak of the sexual arousal that comes from breastfeeding and feel very uncomfortable about it.
Right.
But it does trigger those kind of feelings because the breast is very sensitive. The nipple is very sensitive. And do you know the difference between a child suckling and an adult suckling?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
But for
not that I experienced that.
You remember that far back, Lil? You remember your first latching onto the breast?
No, just more like I couldn't breastfeed. And I think I just didn't produce anything. So I found that really difficult, I think. So for any women out there who've maybe been in that position, that you do sort of, you can feel quite, I wouldn't say traumatized, but, you know, you can feel quite
stigmatized.
Yeah, and insecure and a failure as a mother. You know, there's that big, you know, stigma that we should do that. But did I try? I had many contraptions. It was, all I can say is Daisy the cow and a milking machine, because that's how I felt.
That sounds like some behaviour we can explore on this show.
Yeah, and I wonder if anybody is out there and has been pumped with one of those, because it's very painful. There's nothing good about that. So it's just, you know what I think about this food kind of thing and eating, it's just mess. You know, I go back to the hygiene all the time, and not that it's a hygienic problem at all, I don't think, but it's the mess.
What is it that you don't like about mess? Can we do a little mini counselling session here?
I think if I was laid on a dining table and then I was a plate, I think I'd be all right. But the thought of it all being in the bed or on the floor.
Edible knickers.
Edible knickers, yeah. I don't think they taste very nice, apparently.
I don't know. I've never tried. If anyone out there listening has, please do let us know of your experience in the comments.
And I bet they've come a long way now, because you could get the ones. Do you remember the bracelets as a kid? The stringy. Oh, I don't know what they're called. Multicolored. Yeah. I know you can't see us, listeners, but it's like a piece of elastic, and they've got those little chalky things, and you bite them off. Well, I remember getting, I think it was for my hen party, a bra and knickers of that. I was not going to put that on because I thought you're going to be biting. And we all don't mind a nibble, but if I'm going to put that on and you're going to bite that off, I think I'm going to end up with bite marks. So I'm hoping we've come a long way. If anybody sells edible knickers and bras, and maybe they're quite delicious, ice cream I would like, but I think that'd melt quite quickly. We must have come a long way from then.
I think we have, because, you know, there's edible underwear for men, women. There are edible gummy panties. There are candy bra string pouches. There's water-based underwear. There are loads of products on certain online shopping platforms named Amazon, etc.
Right.
And if you are somebody who's interested in buying wholesale, www.fair.com.
I'm just looking that up. Right, I've noted that one now. But if you go back to Roman times, though, and you know, and you see the movies and they glory, and they had these big festivals and tables of all food, and that was all kind of sexual, and the women were half naked, and then they'd have these sex parties. So, you know, the classic, you know, hanging the grapes.
Bacchanal.
Yes.
But that's how festivals originated.
Yes.
And even all the festivals we've got now, like Mardi Gras, and that's where the word carnival comes from. It comes from the word carne, which is meat. And it's a meat festival, it's a food festival. And they become quite debauched.
I wonder if there are any festivals. You know, you can go to a food and drink festival. Is there a human food and drink festival where people will volunteer to lay on tables and you can be eaten from? Is that a thing? If it's not, I think someone needs to start there.
2025, the Summer of Love, where Babushka and Lils started our food festival. If you want to be a plate, let us know.
I'll do the cooking.
If you'd like to be a diner, tickets are... How much are tickets, Lil?
Oh, I think we'd have to charge quite a lot.
I know, and this cannot be an online event.
I can just see it now, like a banquet. These big grand tables and these beautiful people of all different shapes and sizes and
colours and ethnicities and
sexuality, all laying purely naked. And what I'll do is I'll dish the food up, and then people will pay to come and eat off of you.
What are we going to call our food festival?
I don't know. Let's think. I should have a think about that, because I do think the next thing we need to start looking at is festivals. And if anybody out there runs a festival, one of the things we do want to talk about, and I don't know if we'll talk about it today or next time, it was the tantric sex kind of world.
Yes.
And I'd love to go to a festival where this kind of thing happens. I used to go to lots of festivals in my younger day, but I'd never seen that.
My favourite festival remains WOMAD. World music. I
did go to WOMAD. I went to WOMAD in, I want to say, let me think,
1872.
I think I want to say about 98, or maybe it was 2002. I don't know, somewhere around there. I think I went to WOMAD. I used to do the VW festivals, Phoenix Festival, Reading Festival, and I think maybe Glastonbury. We need to look at, maybe we could get tickets to Glastonbury. There must be some kind of tantric sex tent. If not, Glastonbury needs to have one.
Michael Eavis. Oh no, it's his daughter now, isn't it? Miss Eavis, if you're listening, we would like to have a tantric sex tent at Glastonbury in 2027.
Yes.
Viewers, if you're in agreement, please do message. I can't remember her name. It's not Sarah. I can't remember her name. Eavis. It's gone out of my head. But yeah, email them, glastonburyfestival.tantricsex.com.
So let's talk about tantric sex. What do we know about tantric sex? Apart from Sting.
Forever.
I remember Sting. I think it was like 1994 or something like that he did interview.
Many of our listeners might not have been born then.
I'm not even born then, I know, but that's how long tantric sex has been around for. Probably a lot longer than that, but it was Sting that came out and spoke about it. And I think he was on like a show and he brought it up, and he said that, you know, you can orgasm or last for hours.
I think, you know, in kind of speaking about it and thinking about it and imagining it and fantasizing about it, it sounds amazing. But if you've got to get up at 9 o'clock and go to work,
I'm so on the same page with you. I do not have hours in my day to do this.
And so, you know, if you're a working parent, or you're a carer for someone else, or you know, or you work in the health and social care field, have you got time to have an 8-hour orgasm?
And how exhausted would you be? And afterwards, who gets the munchies? I can't have an 8-hour orgasm and then eat for 16 hours.
Oh my word, Lils, I've got it. You go from 8 hours of tantric sex straight into liquorphilia. There's loads of food. Chocolate, sweets, strawberries, cream, honey.
That's brilliant.
Ripping peaches.
That's absolutely perfect.
Our festival is going to be amazing.
We need to set up a festival. Maybe we'll start small to start with.
In your back garden.
Yeah. Should we do that in my back garden? Might get about 5 people in there.
I remember your neighbours to whom was delivered.
They may want to join us. For those who didn't listen to the
little
podcast,
toy.
about the toys that got delivered to me at the wrong house. I would have kept it, but it was a pointless vibrator, so I gave it back. But
So let's explain what tantric sex is. It's a spiritual practice rooted in Hindu and Buddhist traditions, and it emphasizes deep connection, mindfulness, and the integration of sexuality with spirituality.
Brilliant.
What's brilliant about that? Tell us, Skills.
Well, I just think, and I'm going back to Sting again, that he was quite religious, and I mean, you're bringing, to me, it's a bit uneasy. I remember listening to it being younger as well, and thinking religion and sex. Maybe it was the way I was brought up, and that was quite taboo to sort of bring those together. So for me,
what have you got a sort of lie back and think of England kind of approach?
I think I was sort of brought up that you just have sex to have kids, and that's it.
And that's why we have this Taboo Couch podcast, because most people clearly don't believe that.
No, and that's why I'm now a rebel. And now wild.
So the difference kind of between kind of conventional sexual approaches and tantric sex is that your lie back and think of England kind of approach focuses on climax, whereas tantric sex focuses, you know, on clients being kind of fully present in the moment and, you know, kind of wanting to achieve a, you know, a really deep sense of unity between yourself and your partner. Or I guess maybe partners now, thruples,
yes.
pansexualism, polyamorism. And you know where this comes from, it comes from a word in Sanskrit, which is one of the most ancient languages in the world, meaning to weave.
To weave?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a broad kind of spiritual path, you know, that seeks to harmonize opposing energies, you know, kind of yin and yang, masculine and feminine, body and spirit, and try and bring that into, you know, a unified whole. So, you know, tantric sex isn't merely about, you know, physical intimacy, but it's kind of a sacred act that leads, you know, to spiritual enlightenment and personal transformation. Sting, if you're out there and you can confirm that any of this happened for you, we'd love to hear.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I was just going to say, I think my idea of tantric sex is not physical. Is there touching?
There is, but it's not merely about physical intimacy.
No, mainly not,
No, it may include rituals, which are called Mayatuna, which, you know, symbolizing the union of divine energies. And that's often, you know, accompanied by meditation, breath work, and visualization. And I'm just imagining, you know, that if you're having a tantric sex session, you know, just the foreplay alone can take 8 hours. Meditation, breath work, and visualization.
Wow.
Have you ever engaged in any of those things separately or all together, Lils?
Probably a few at once. But do you know what I'm thinking of? Is that in kind of group work, because it's tantric sex is not just always about one-on-one, and that, you know, you see those kind of therapies kind of going on, and you're just thinking, you know, we're tuning into each other. So then is it like a tantric orgy? And you're thinking, who did I get? Who did I get that orgasm from? Was it you, Fred? Or Vera, did you pass it to me? And I'm just thinking, and what was that program Ricky Gervais did? Oh,
The Office.
No, not The Office. When he sent, what's his name? He sent him all around the world to do all those different things. Oh, I absolutely loved it.
I don't know. I was never a fan of Ricky Gervais, so I really don't know. That's really sad.
I wasn't really a big fan of him. Kyle, and they would send him out and on these missions. And I remember him being in a tent in America. I'm going to have to look this up.
Please do educate us. While you're looking that up, I will tell you that, mindfulness and presence in tantric sex are about being fully engaged in the moment, about paying really close attention to, sensations and emotions and the connection with your partner. Have you found it yet on Google? ChatGPT. There are other search.
I found it on Google. An Idiot Abroad. Have you never seen it? Carl Pilkington. Absolutely amazing. So Ricky Gervais would send him to the most obscure places. If you haven't, you need to find it on whatever platform it will be on. Probably not Netflix, but there are others. And they send him abroad, and he does the most obscure things. Not always sexual. It might be going to some really unique places. Some of it, I suppose, can be a little bit offensive at times. But he goes to this one. And he's a real moaner. He's like an old man. He moans about everything. So that's what makes it really funny. And he has to go into this tent, and that's about tantric sex. And they're all fully clothed, and he just moans, but not sexually moaning, and complains about it all the way through, and thinking it's a load of rubbish. And all these people are sort of moaning and groaning, but they're all clothed and they're all intertwining. And that's making me think about tantric sex isn't always just one-to-one, and it is very spiritual.
Definitely very spiritual, and very focused on the flow of sexual energy, and that's often referred to as kundalini. Now, I always thought kundalini was a form of yoga.
Well, I was thinking cunnilingus when you said kundalini.
Cunnilingus is all about licking.
Yes. Well, I never heard of. What did you just say it was?
I'll take you anywhere, Lils.
You can't. You can never invite me to family parties or dinners. I'm always going to say something.
Kundalini.
What does kundalini mean?
To achieve a heightened state of consciousness and connection. Kind of like what we're doing on this podcast.
So it's not anything to do with sex at all, is it?
No, sexual energy and energy exchange, often referred to as kundalini.
But it's like cunnilingus, though, isn't it? There's a kundalini, cunnilingus. I mean, it's all... I think we're going back to the food fetish as well.
I love the educational and informative element of our podcast.
Just really curious, and I love the fact that we're learning as we're going along, and that's
I'm just absolutely intrigued by this other parallel universe that's out there, created by people like you and me, who are just exploring, who are curious, who have got a sense of wonder about life and the world and human activity and human behavior, and what's relationships and what are boundaries, and how do we extend intimacy, because a lot of what we're talking about in our podcast is about intimacy between people. How do we get intimate? How do we have relationships, sustain relationships? What are our thresholds and our boundaries and our limitations? What are our fears and anxieties? And how do we maintain a sense of self while we're, potentially engaged in these less than vanilla, activities, desires.
And that's one of the reasons why we started this, wasn't it? Is to make sure for us to grow, and for us to learn, and for nothing that comes to us in our counselling work to be taboo. And that's one of the things we wanted to explore. So I know that we're laughing because I'm immature, and I say immature things, and I actually just say what I think. That's there's no script for me. I don't work on any kind of script
or filter.
Or filter, yes. So as soon as it pops into my head, I'll say it.
But Lils, that would make me the adult, and Babushka has never been grown up. I mean, big, bold, brave babushka, yes. Grown up babushka, I don't know.
No. I think that's why we're quite perfect together, because we do both have an immature side.
So going back to our subject of tantric sex and
Yes.
kind of extended intimacy, it's about prioritizing these prolonged and meaningful engagements over kind of rather than over kind of immediate gratification.
Yes. Do you think it's about building connection then?
Yes.
Rather than
primarily that's what it seems.
Yes.
Yeah. On a spiritual and emotional
and
level, and it's about strengthening the bonds between partners through shared vulnerability and presence, because you have to look deeply into someone's eyes while you're practicing tantric sex, and that can make you feel very, very vulnerable, even in the counseling room, when we have eye contact with clients, maybe when they're disclosing very difficult or painful or fearful experiences. Often they may not be able to look at us because they've got feelings of fear and guilt and shame. But we, the counselor, the therapist, will continue to maintain eye contact to let that person know, I'm still here with you, I'm present, I'm totally engaged, I'm actively listening to what you're saying. I accept you and your experience that you're recounting to me, and I am demonstrating to you unconditional positive regard. And I am not judging you. I am here to listen, to understand you.
Yeah. And I think you've made a good point there, is that we're not there to make them feel uncomfortable. So if they don't want to give us eye contact, and if you think about that, lots of the clients I've worked with neurodivergent and ASD, etc., is I've always offered them a seat to the side, because we do sit opposite each other, but sometimes that's quite uncomfortable for people. So they may sit to the side, but my choice to look at them, as long as it doesn't make them feel uncomfortable, but they don't have to maintain eye contact with me. And that's nothing to do with the shame. That's just part of who they are. So I think that's why, some people, it might be they feel embarrassed and therefore having to look at you and say that. But for some people, not everybody with ASD, can find that eye contact quite intimidating.
People who are not neurodivergent can find eye contact quite intimidating. So I think this really does, encourage us to expose and explore our vulnerabilities and our desires and our emotional patterns, because in tantric sex the goal is increased self-awareness and increased awareness of your partner. And carry on, Nils.
People do find it really hard to give eye contact, though, don't they? Not everybody, but lots of people do. So, staring into somebody's soul. I mean, for me, I'd be doing a shopping list. Like
strawberries, cream, honey, chocolate.
It would all be food, ice cream. ice cream.
Yeah.
The thought of sitting with somebody and staring at them, like I can't, even if I stare at the TV, my brain is doing 20 things at once. So I'd really like to practice this. I really would. If there's anybody out there who does teach this, that kind of, because I think I've really started to do meditation, but I do guided meditation. But often then it takes quite a long time to actually empty your brain of nothing. It really does take practice. So I think this is a real skill for anybody out there who is not necessarily a master of it, but does practice it and can do it. I'd really love to hear from them.
Please do get in touch. We'd love to have you on the show. And I just wanted to, also add that, tantric sex is not a kink, not a fetish, and not an unusual practice. It's just a form of engaging in sexual activity that's a little maybe outside of your norm.
Yeah. And that's why we're talking about it. We're not, it's not massively taboo, but it is for some people because they don't understand it. And that's what we're here to talk about is, so I'm really interested in it.
And I think, it especially post pandemic, we're all about our spiritual growth. We're all about, you know, mindfulness and meditation and, you know, deep self-care. And tantric sex can be a form of, you know, of self-care and shared care between you and your partner, or however many of you are engaged in your relationships. So, you know, it's about experiencing a sense of, you know, unity with the divine or the universe, you know, kind of transcending, you know, just the physical act of sex.
And if you think about years ago, sex was very physical. But now in modern times, especially around COVID and that, where we've got sexting, I mean, sexting is a big thing. Videos, you know, these are all, I don't think dangerous as in you're putting yourself in a difficult position, but I have heard lots of stories from people where, you know, you're in a relationship, you're sexting, you're making sexualized videos and sending them, and that's how we're communicating with each other, and then that breaks up, and then people have this kind of evidence and stuff where that wouldn't have happened years ago. The only sexual interaction you had was physical, was together, and we're talking a lot of years ago before the phone.
And it's important that we, you know, have, you know, language to speak about this on our show, because, as you say, things are massively shifting as the technology shifts.
Yeah.
Things are shifting, and keep up, keep informed, keep on top if you're vanilla. It's increasingly challenging. What would you suggest, Nils, for anybody who's feeling, gosh, after listening to this, I really need to update my sexual dictionary?
Yeah, I think, remember that everything is, as long as whatever you're doing is consensual, everything is agreeable. And I think one of the things that we try to talk about is that nothing's really taboo in a way.
Some of it's even on YouTube.
Yeah. As long as it's consensual and nobody is in any danger and we're keeping safe, then that's the main thing. And I think sadly there's lots of people that are doing things, and I do worry about the younger generation and the exposure they have to the internet and porn. And I know from experience that people in their sort of early 20s are doing things, not necessarily in loving relationships, but things that would have been very taboo for us years ago. And
do you have any examples? I mean, we've talked about cunnilingus. Are there any things that we can't talk about now?
Well, I think many years ago I had a young friend, and she was probably only about 19. So I'm talking probably about 25 years ago. And I remember her coming into work, and she had this boyfriend, and I mean, it's like water sports now, isn't it? When people urinate on each other and stuff like that, and that's a thing, water sports.
Aquaphilia.
Is that what it's called? Is it called aquaphilia? Because I just know it's water sports. It probably is an aqua, or is it a urinophilia? Don't know which one it is. And he asked her to lay under a glass table. Well, he laid under a glass table, and she had to urinate on it. And we're talking probably about 30 odd years ago. And I remember thinking that was very taboo then. And it was how she was being exploited to this kind of norm. What worries me now, and I have worked a lot with people sort of later teens, and the things that they are doing now is still kind of taboo for me, for my generation. And I just wonder where that's going to go. And I think that's why we're talking about and exploring all of these things. And like everything that we do has to be consensual and safe.
Yeah. And I think the fact that we're mentioning, that there are practices, or there are sexual activities now which are happening, between younger and younger people, that we may not necessarily know the names of, or we might not necessarily even know exactly what those practices involve, says that there is a real need, to explore, to excavate and uncover, so that if people are in any way being exploited, that they will know, because there is information out there for them to safeguard them.
Yeah, and even the word vanilla, we've joked about, that's not vanilla, and now we've got. I don't think anybody's vanilla anymore. Maybe the older generation, but the younger generation certainly.
They're all Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah,
a mix of flavors.
They're just cookie dough mixed up with raspberry ripple and
Oreos. And
yes, I mean they are just
M&Ms.
They are feeling this enormous pressure. When in our day there was a porn was on a magazine on the top shelf that you couldn't reach, and that was very taboo if you went and bought something like that. But now it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and I know on our YouTube we protect it by. I know that when you log in, your face has to be scanned that you're over 18, and but not everywhere is like that. And it does worry me what in 5 or 10 years' time, when we'll hopefully still be counselling, what kind of things will people be bringing to the table then?
Yeah. One of them might be Hypno-Kink.
Hypno-Kink. Tell me, have you been hypnotised before? Because I never have. I would like to be hypnotised.
I have, following a very traumatic bereavement.
Oh, okay.
Very traumatic, very sudden, unexpected, and traumatic. And I had hypnotherapy, and it really, really helped.
Good. Right. Okay.
I had one session. That's how, that's how effective it was. And when we graduate, I'm going to do a course in hypnotherapy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Because not everybody can be hypnotised. And I wonder whether I've thought about being hypnotised for various things. But it does worry me that you have to be quite open-minded. Is that right?
Open to suggestion.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can tell I'm open to being a plate at a festival in your back garden. But let me tell you a bit more about Hypno-Kink, because it goes really, it sits really nicely alongside kind of tantric sex, as being concerned with, being erotic. It's, focusing on relaxation and suggestion, and, using trance states, engaging, becoming entranced, to enhance, sexual arousal, to build pleasure, or, explore power dynamics and, sensations like, freezing or role play or disassociation for erotic effect.
Right.
And I think it kind of takes tantric sex. They are not similar. Sorry, they are not, what's the word? They are similar, but not the same.
Okay, yeah.
I'm tongue-tied after all that cunnilingus. But again, it's about being in a state of bliss.
Okay, so you don't go somewhere to be hypnotized. It's just something you and your partner or partners do. Is that right?
Yes, and it's just it can be a blend of hypnotic techniques with erotic and kink activities. Whereas tantric sex doesn't have the kink elements.
Yeah, yeah.
So Hypno-Kink kind of takes it to another dimension.
Wow.
You sound interested.
Why did I think about Doctor Who then? I thought about being in a TARDIS and being put in another dimension.
Remember our exophilia?
Yes.
Sex, but out of this world.
Yeah. Wow. I'd like to know more about that then.
About Hypno-Kinks.
Mm.
Okay, so Hypno-Kink and polyvagal informed therapy are often linked. So polyvagal informed therapy is used widely to help people identify and shift their nervous system state. So it's about promoting co-regulation and emotional connection. I've got all Latin. Emotional connection in kind of trauma-informed therapy and sex therapy.
Okay.
So it's kind of a blend of these two therapies.
So is it something that it's not something that you and your partner practice together? Do you need somebody to work with to do this?
Yes.
Right, okay.
So what you'd be aiming for is what's called parasympathetic tone, similar to polyvagal informed therapy, and arriving at a state of ventral vagal states.
Wow, there's a lot of big words in there.
I know, I couldn't even pronounce a lot of them. And how erotic hypnosis or Hypno-Kink works is to shift people into a state of trance or catalepsy, which is a kind of freezing.
Wow. I'm trying to think. Have you ever? So you've been hypnotized before. You know what scares me? You know, if you go to one of these shows and there's a hypnotist there and they get you on the stage and make you look a plonker.
Darren, what's his name? Darren.
I can't think of his name.
Not Brown.
It is Darren Brown, isn't it?
Is it Darren Brown?
Is he hypnotized?
Yeah.
It is Darren Brown. He does the mind tricks though, doesn't he? I don't know about hypnotizing, but you know when you see it on TV and they do it in variety shows or something, and they'll hypnotize you, and I always think
Paul McKenna. Is it Paul McKenna?
It. Yeah, Paul McKenna does that. I mean, he hypnotizes for giving up smoking and stuff, but I wouldn't like to be like hypnotized and pretend to be a chicken or take all my clothes off or something like that. You know, you see a Butlins or somewhere where they do something like this, and I just don't know how they do that. So this is about a therapist working with people. Okay.
Yeah, and it's done with guidance, and Hypno-Kink can be safely explored and integrated in a session.
I wonder if that's used, and I could really be getting the wrong side of this, but you know, people who've maybe got inhibitions. So rather than to improve, well, it would be improving your sex life, but maybe if there's some kind of trauma, and it's exploring that and being hypnotized to release that, or maybe a religious upbringing of, you know, sex is quite taboo. I wonder if it's used that way.
Some of the techniques that are used are, you know, breath work and grounding and tuning into your, you know, inner sensations. And those can be, that's called interoception. And that can be really important in, you know, working with people who have experienced or who are experienced post-traumatic stress disorders. And we're working from a, you know, trauma-informed approach within this work. So, you know, there are other interventions, you know, that can help clients to explore their inner parts or their attachment and relational patterns within a kind of a focused framework of regulated states. I mean, it sounds like an answer on on University Challenge, doesn't it?
It does sound very complex. Very complex.
Yeah, it's all about, you know, polyvagal therapy, hypnosis, nervous system states, and secure consent around erotic content.
So are there orgasms? Because tantric sex are we talking orgasms? Because I mean, Sting said he had an orgasm for like 4 hours or something. I mean, I can't imagine how exhausted I would be.
To be in that heightened state for that amount of time, I think I'd be a nervous wreck.
I mean, you fall asleep after. I'd be asleep after 5 minutes. I don't know if I'd be doing tantric sex for 4 hours.
I think I'd only want sex once or twice a year on that basis.
That might be 10 years for me.
I know, because you did say kind of 20 seconds was your max. I have offered to time, late listeners, I have offered to time Loopy Leal's orgasms just so that we present you with accurate information on this podcast.
I shall do a bit of research. Do like a bit of research. I'll record my next one. Well, not record it actually. I won't be recording it. I'll time it.
And then can we do like a comparative study of how long it takes you with the ice cream to see which lasts longer, your ice cream or your orgasm? I
think the ice cream may not last as long. Talking of Ben and Jerry's tub. Although I have switched from there are other brands, by the way, but I've switched to my low calorie ice cream with 300 calories a tub. How amazing is that?
Is there any ice cream in it?
There is. It is. It's much more healthier than having 1,000 calories of another branded ice cream.
Well, just to kind of bring our Hypno-Kink kind of to a conclusion, erotic contents and hypnosis in therapy, it must be guided by, professional ethics, clear purpose, and really strict boundaries. And there has to be an awareness, of trauma sensitivity.
Yeah.
And there are limitations in this kind of therapy. So, yeah. Be aware if you're interested in this kind of therapy, do your research, work with a qualified professional practitioner, and come and tell us about your experience.
Yeah, if anybody's had this, or if there's anyone who practices this, I'd love to hear from them, because I have to say I'm very ignorant about this, and I'm really, really interested. And whenever there's something that I don't know anything about, I'm really curious to understand more. And I think wanting to be a couples counsellor, I don't think this would be an avenue that I would probably go down.
I would say this is maybe more to the left field than mainstream.
Yes, it's definitely more a niche kind of area.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that's people
the
out
right
there.
Word.
Yeah, I'm glad there are people out there who do that. And maybe I'll do some research and see if we can get somebody on, because we're all about us learning, and our viewers and listeners.
What have you learned today, Lils?
I've learned that I have a fetish with ice cream, and I moan and groan a lot when I eat it. So now I know.
You just moan and groan a lot anyway.
Yeah, I know what that's called now. Tantric sex. I want to learn more about that. I really do. I think I'm going to do a bit more research about that, and I think I'd like to go somewhere to be educated or try that. I think maybe we should do that.
That sounds like a great place to end. We're going off to explore.
Yeah, we're going on a bear hunt or a tantric sex hunt. I wonder if we can have a nap after, because we all know we need a sleep after. So I wonder if there's a little bed that I can have a sleep after. After about 20 seconds.
Seriously, the only person who crossed the finish line faster than you was Usain Bolt.
Yes. Oh, that is brilliant.
Dear listeners, that's all from us today. Thank you for tuning in. If you like, subscribe, share, tell others, and come back next week for another episode of Taboo Couch.
Definitely. Thank you for listening.
Nothing is off limits.
It certainly isn't. And if you've got anything that you would like us to explore and talk about, we love research and we'd love to. We have got an enormous list, but I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there who's got something that we don't know about.
So hook up with us on X, known as Twitter still.
TikTok, Instagram,
YouTube, and listen out for us on Spotify too.
Definitely.
So it's good night from her.
And it's good night from you.
And we'll see you next time on Taboo
Couch.